Kim Humphreys, Sergeant, 92nd Division, 365th Infantry, Fort Huachuca, Arizona.
My name's Arthur Harness, Sergeant, Special Weapon Troop, 9th Cavalry.
My name is Sergeant Major Retired Albert Griffin Jr., Company C, 24th Infantry Regiment, Camp Gifu, Japan.
My name is Bailey Willie G. My rank is Corporal. I am a
Buffalo Soldier.
Buffalo Soldier.
Buffalo Soldier.
Buffalo Soldier.
I left my love, I left her sleeping in her bed. I turned my back on my true love when fighting Johnny Red.
The creation of the Buffalo Soldier. On June 28, 1866, an act of Congress authorized the creation of a cavalry and infantry regiment to participate in the U.S. Army. These were African American men and were organized as the 9th and 10th Cavalries and the 38th through 41st Infantry. Historians believe that the name Buffalo Soldier was given to these African Americans by the Native American Apache tribe. They gave them the name because the soldiers' hair was similar to the hair of the buffalo. The buffalo was very special to the Apaches. Therefore, the term was thought to express the Native American tribe's respect for the soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers who had joined the army for food, money, and shelter protected the western frontier. In the regiments and cavalry, the Buffalo Soldiers were posted at several bases in the west and fought in a series of battles including the Spanish-Mexican War, both World Wars, and also fought Spain in the Caribbean War. However, the most important battle was the Battle of Beaver Creek in the Republican River Valley in Kansas, 1867, and was the first and real involvement of the 9th and 10th Cavalries. Involvement in the Civil War.
We'll ride me down to hell and back for Ulysses Simpson Grant.
Both free and runaway African Americans served in the Union Army and Navy during the Civil War. On July 17, 1862, Congress passed two acts allowing the enlistment of African Americans, but their official enrollment occurred after the September 1862 Emancipation Proclamation. Months after Congress passed the acts, white soldiers and officers believed that black men lacked the ability to fight and fight well. African American soldiers attacked the criticism by volunteering in the Battle of Island Mound, Missouri in October 1862. That was their first involvement in the Civil War. After the war, General Blunt wrote, "I never saw such fighting as was done by the Negro Regiment. The question that Negroes will fight is settled. Besides, they make better soldiers in every aspect than any troops I have ever had under my command." About 186,000 African Americans participated and they were enlisted for about 5 years. Although black soldiers proved themselves as reputable soldiers, discrimination in pay in other areas remained widespread. According to the Militia Act of 1862, black soldiers were to receive $10 a month plus a clothing allowance of $3.50. Soldiers of African descent fought in Missouri, Kansas, Ohio, Louisiana, and Tennessee, but the most widely known battle fought by African Americans was the assault on Fort Wagner, South Carolina, by the 54th Massachusetts Infantry on July 18, 1863. The era in the Civil War lasted from 1861 to 1865.
Will the English charm me with their smile, and if they fail to find me, well, my heart falls back to where it found to the girl I left behind me.
During the 1800s to 1850s, the Buffalo Soldiers were ordinary slaves who lived in southern states including Virginia, Maryland, and the Carolinas. After years of working on plantation and cotton farms, most of these slaves chose to run away from their masters and join the army for food, money, protection, and shelter. They were then dispatched to the frontier to fight the Native Americans. The soldiers marched from the Galveston to Fort Duncan with their bedding, guns, and many other supplies. They did not have tents, and when night approached, they slept under a tree or bushes. They did, however, have canned beans, milk, and hardtack, usually 3 to 4 of each, and they used skillets to cook the food. Their environment was surrounded with animals such as rabbits, deer, and larger animals. For this reason, they often ate meat. In this aspect, the Buffalo Soldiers' dream of joining the Army for food was fulfilled. On their march to Fort Duncan, as they made camp when night fell, the soldiers would make jokes or share stories about themselves and how they were able to get away from their slave masters. After the soldiers arrived at Fort Duncan, they were then ordered back to the mountainous part of Fort Davis, Kansas. In Fort Davis, they fought the Native Americans continuously, and many lives were lost. In the summer of 1867, the 9th and 10th Cavalries were attacked in Kansas under Captain George A. Armes by the Cheyenne. This was the first real involvement for the 9th and 10th Cavalries. After the incident, Captain Armes wrote a commanding post to Congress in which he explained his response to the Indian raid along at the railroad right-of-way. In his post, Armes explained the reaction to the attack, where he took 44 mountain men to track the Cheyenne north of the Big Creek. 18 miles into the tracking, they lost the trail due to darkness. Many of the Buffalo Soldiers' perspective towards the Indians were the Indians are brave and strong, especially the Cheyenne. They never quit, and their trails disappear after a few miles. After surviving the attack from the Cheyenne, the cavalry then became involved in a battle between the other black soldiers who were fighting with white Kansas volunteers in Beaver Creek, located in the Republican River Valley. While many lives were lost, the brave Buffalo Soldiers defended their country with pride and were successful in their first major battle.
Trail Mr. Renner's buckboard southeast, sir. About a mile below the painted post. Painted post, eh? Met 2 men in a wagon. Oh, they were? No, sir, Captain. It didn't seem prudent to inquire.
The 9th and 10th Cavalries became well known after their first battle, which then led to a series of other battles, including the Spanish-Mexican War, both world wars, and several others. More than 12,000 African Americans served in the Army for a period of 5 years. During those years, they encountered approximately 125 Native Americans from various tribes. Positive results from those years of battling the Native Americans on the frontier included militia forts, which protected settlers, railroad crews, guarded mail and stage routes, newly built roads and forts, newly strung telegraph lines, and generally the Buffalo Soldiers kept the peace. Additionally, the troops also fought against Mexican outlaws and border desperados, and helped to control cattle thieves and bootleggers in the sometimes lawless West. Finally, 18 African Americans were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for deeds of bravery between 1866 and 1898, a very high percentage, and represented a legacy of courage and patriotism. The Buffalo Soldiers fought in a series of battles and defended the western frontier. Their era or contribution to the United States began with their first battle at the Beaver Creek in the Republican River Valley in Kansas, 1867.